Look at the map.
Welcome aboard.
Hello, there. Welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Craig. I will be your tour conductor here. We'll get going. I've got a little safety advice. I think you'll help the sound problem. Got a little safety advice. I recognize this.
Well, howdy there, pilgrims. While you're on our little buggy here, please don't smoke those cigars or drink that whiskey. Stay in your saddles at all times. Keep your arms and legs in, and you better watch out for those low-hanging branches. That'll test your true grit.
We're just leaving Old Town State Historic Park. Sorry about this. It's just not plugged in.
This house on your right is the Otto Stewart house. That's the oldest house in this area. That's from the 1830s.
There. Just wasn't snapped in. That is an adobe structure. Adobe's just a little straw mixed with mud, baked in the sun for about 2 weeks, and formed into bricks. Now, this area is known as the birthplace of California because the first permanent European settlement was here when they built the mission up on the hill in 1769. It was the first of 21 missions which went up the coast of California, about as far north as Sonoma, which is just north of San Francisco. The missions were spread about 30 miles apart, 30 miles being about a day's journey that one could make on foot. And if you see the American flag up there, that's where the original mission was. Now, the Kumeyaay Indians were the original residents of this area. They lived here for over 10,000 years. But the first Europeans to come here, first it was Juan Cabrillo sailing for Spain in 1542. He sailed into our harbor. He named it San Miguel, and then he left. He was followed 60 years later by another Spaniard by the name of Sebastian Vizcaíno. And Sebastian Vizcaíno had kind of a dubious reputation of rediscovering places. He sailed into our harbor, claiming not to have recognized Juan Cabrillo's map, which could have been true. And he named us San Diego. That name stuck, but then he left as well. And it wasn't until King Carlos of Spain heard that there were Russian fur traders coming up down the west coast. And King Carlos really wanted to secure this area once and for all for Spain, so he sent Father Nepero Serra along with naval officer Gaspar de Portola, and they established the first mission up on the hill. And we now have a state park here on your right, Old Town State Historic Park, which is really kind of right behind our stop there. It has a lot of old buildings and a lot of gift shops and a couple of free museums if you want to walk around there. It's actually the most visited state park in California, which is kind of hard to believe. I would think Yosemite would be. Well, the San Diego River used to flow right along here, and it emptied out into our harbor, which is just to the east of us, right down here. But there were a lot of concerns that the harbor was being filled up with silt as a result of the river, because it was a pretty shallow harbor. So remarkably, in the early 1800s, they completely rerouted the river. Instead of flowing east into the bay, they had it flow west out into the ocean, which is only about a mile and a half from here. And this whole area dried up and became known as, it was once a swampy river delta, and it dried up and became known as a Dutch Flats. We, of course, remained under Spanish control until 1821. And then we became a Mexican territory after Mexico received their independence from Spain. California at that time was known as Alta California, Alta meaning upper, Baja meaning lower. Baja California, of course, is still part of Mexico. Testing seaplanes there was not the best place, so he moved his whole operation out here, and he opened Consolidated Aircraft, which was a big, very large aircraft company for many years, and this was the factory here on the left. They built a lot more than seaplanes. They built a lot of commercial aircraft there for much of the 20th century. Under the Reagan administration, there was a lot of controversy with all of that Star Wars weaponry. Most of that was designed here in Speyborn. And they did design some prototypes, but most of that stuff was actually never built. Well, we're a big Navy town, but we also have a big Marine presence as well. Our Marine base, Camp Pendleton, is just 60 miles to the north of here. Northern San Diego County. That was named after Colonel Joseph Pendleton, who started our Marine Corps recruit team over here on the right. This is our recruit depot on the right. They trained 20,000 Marines a year there. really have a lot of other planes to worry about. Now, we love our airport. It is only 5 minutes away from downtown. Not a lot of big city airports can say that. However, it is an old airport built in 1928. It only has one runway, which is pretty unusual for a city our size. We have 620 flights a day. Here we've got a plane coming in right now. And that means that a plane takes off or lands every 90 seconds. But that was a pretty small plane. It's funny when the really big jets come right over the trolley. It's really kind of scary. But they come in very low. You'll see a lot of planes today coming right over the trolley, especially when we get to Little Italy. They come in very low here. By the way, if you take a look at this building here on your left, that gray building, that used to be Ryan Aeronautical, and that is where the Spirit of St. Louis was built in 1927. Well, here we are in San Diego Harbor, and look at the size of that cruise ship that is in here. We have had to dredge the bay many times over the years to accommodate larger and larger ships. Now across the bay there, you'll see a lot of tan buildings and the aircraft hangars. That is North Island, Coronado, our naval aviation base. You see that big aircraft carrier there with the white on top? That is a nuclear aircraft carrier. That is the USS Ronald Reagan. Nuclear means it only needs to be refueled about every 30 years. All of these boats that you see in this part of the harbor, people live on them year-round. It only costs $150 a month to have a boarding here. White steamship here with a black smokestack, the Berkeley, that was built in San Francisco in 1898, and it was actually used to ferry survivors to safety after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. It spent many days going back and forth across San Francisco Bay with survivors. We have a little gray Vietnam-era swift boat there, and a submarine there with 555 on it. That's the USS Dolphin. Now take a look at this beautiful masted ship. This is the HMS Surprise. It's a British frigate. It was used in the film Master and Commander with Russell Crowe, as well as the latest Pirates of the Caribbean, with Johnny Depp, of course. Now just beyond that, you'll see a Russian submarine there. And then this beauty here is the Star of India. That was built in 1863 during the American Civil War, and it is an active sailing ship, and that makes it the oldest iron-hull active sailing ship in the world. And here we are at our harbor stop.